This picture shows the three main characters, Molly, Gracie, and Daisy, along with Nellie, Mimi Alley, and Constable Riggs, protector of Aboriginal people. The girls were taken to be dispatched to a settlement for half-castes. Half-caste is a term used to describe people with parents of different races. In this scenario, it usually refers to people with both Aboriginal and Australian heredity. The story takes place in Australia in 1931, when assimilation policies were still valid. Like what happened to these girls, half-caste would be ripped away from their families to be assimilated into Australian or white society. Assimilation means conforming to the dominant culture of society whilst rejecting your traditional culture. The assimilation policies originate from the British colonizers. During the colonization of Australia, Indigenous people were victims of mass murder, incarceration, and removal from their land under the guise of protecting them. In this picture, you can see Molly, Gracie, Daisy, and Mimi Alley sitting on a train. Next to them is another constable called Constable Paulette. After the drive to Marble Bar, Nellie had to stay at the hospital whilst the rest of the girls would travel by train. Paulette was put in charge of escorting them on the train and to the harbour, where they would travel by boat to Fremantle. Here you can see Constable Paulette handing over some documents to the captain of the ship called Colinda. Over here you can see Mimi Alley getting carried inside a boat on the stretcher due to her fractured leg, and the girls on the right feeling a bit scared and nervous. In this last slide you can see an old man by the name of George Johnson. Molly, Gracie, and Daisy got well acquainted with George during their trip to Fremantle. He would tell them stories about the pyramids in Egypt. He would also tell them about the different races in this world, as well as teach them the English names of the stars. After this, the story ends with the girls arriving in Fremantle. What I think is going to happen next is that the girls will arrive at the settlement, only to escape shortly after. Based on the title of the story, I assume they will walk along the rabbit fence in order to find their way home.